I want to talk about changing your life by changing the way we think, all right? When we are trying to change our lives, a lot of people try to change what they're doing, change how they're acting, whatever. They need to make a change, right? They know they need to make a change. But for me personally, I think it's better if you make a change to the way you think first, all right? Because a lot of this is programmed with our upbringing, who's around us, our environment, and as well as what's going on in society, all right? For me personally, I had to change my way of thinking because I realized how I was thinking was why I was where I was, okay? So first thing I did to change my way of thinking is I tried to always stay more positive, all right? Try to always be more optimistic, see the better and the good in every situation rather than being negative or seeing what's wrong with the situation, all right? So with this mental shift, we have to realize that in our minds, it's not a ton of space, all right? We have only a certain amount of space in our head, which is our thoughts. And for what I like to say is if I have a negative thought or I'm seeing what's wrong in the world, I'm not leaving that space to see what's right in the situation or in the world or what I am doing that is positive. So that's my first switch, is try to stay away from the negative thoughts. And when you're feeling or seeing stuff that's negative, try to look for something that's positive or try to be more optimistic about the situation. I get situations aren't always going to be perfect, but if you have adversity, you're going to have a lesson in that adversity that you can pull from that situation, which will help you grow in the long run. So that's what we need to focus on. Don't focus on the adversity you're feeling. And I know it's harder to do in the moment, all right? It's very challenging for me still, but when I'm in that moment of anger, negativity, or something's happened that I didn't really want to happen and it's affecting me, I try to always say there's a lesson here or something I'm gonna gain from this, so it's not just a negative situation, all right? That's how I change it to more thinking like I'm gonna grow from this. Something's happening before a reason so I can grow, all right? Another thing with the way we think is a lot of it isn't how we really think. It's how our parents think, it's how the teachers that taught us think, it's about how maybe if you're a religious person, it's your religious leader, how they think. It's all these different opinions basically, rather than our own thoughts. So for me, what I had to do was go quiet and kind of hop off social media a little bit, not look at everybody else's posts. I had to kind of turn off podcasts and music and had to really be in my own thoughts. What this did for me was basically I got inspiration. I got things popping in my head like ideas, try this, or I should be doing this. And before I didn't have that, okay? I felt like I was overstimulated and I was basically doing what other people said to do, and that was silly, that was wrong. I have to have my own thoughts, I'm my own person, so it makes sense. And I think that's a big thing for nowadays. I think a lot of people nowadays, they're very reactive to the situation, and their reaction is honestly other people's opinions, whether it was what their mom and dad did when something happened like that situation, or someone else that was in their life that maybe had an influence on them. So you always have to make sure that you're thinking on your own. And this is the same thing with like politicians or people like high figures in society. Like even if they say something, you have to always question it, all right? You always have to say, I have to have my own thoughts about this. I can pull from what this person's saying, but at the end of the day, I need to have my own thoughts and my own opinion about this, all right? And so that's what I'm trying to do for us. Is like, I don't think the way I think is perfect by any means, but I think it's in a positive direction, all right? It's promoting people to have their own thoughts, not just kind of do what the other person's by them is doing, because at the end of the day, we're all different and we have different goals, all right? So you have to first set what goals you have, and then at the end of the day, it's like, for me personally, I want to be a positive influence. I don't want people to be feeling like when I come around, their like energy goes down, or they feel as if like they got to tiptoe around me. I want to be a person that has very positive energy, that has a very positive mindset, and that can uplift people. That is one of my goals right now. So every day I'm trying to basically see the positive in every situation. And even this morning it was tough. I woke up in a little bit of a rut. I literally don't think it was because of anything I did. It was just my mindset. I didn't get to my purpose right away. I was kind of hanging around, and then that got me thinking of like falling behind and creating anxiety in my head. And so I had to switch right away. I said, okay, now I got to go into doing something of service. Okay, I got to go and do something with purpose. And that's the thing. Every time we start to get negative thoughts, it usually is because we're not on that purpose road. We're kind of just lollygagging, and it's basically that constant reminder, like, hey man, we're supposed to be working towards a purpose. Let's get going on that. All right. So today's takeaways I want you to take away is, when you have negative thoughts, try to replace them with positive ones. When you have an adversity, when you go and face adversity, always think there's a valuable lesson that's just as equal to this adversity that I'm gonna pull away to help me grow, and that's why I had this happen. And lastly is, always have your own thoughts. It's okay to have other people's opinions and listen to them, but at the end of the day, you gotta have your own thoughts, you gotta make your own decisions, and then at the end of the day, you have to live your life. So that's why I'm telling you, if you're not happy with where you are right now and you think you wanna make, or you know you wanna make a change, start changing the way we think, all right? You can't have the same thoughts as we have right now if you want to go to somewhere better, all right? We got to get our mindset right, then we got to get everything else following that, okay? Let's have a great rest of the week and a great rest of the weekend, and let's see you guys on Monday.